Alright, continuing on. Today we finally get into virtual machines. So the first thing you want to do is actually go to Oracle's website, and not the actual VMware site, but Oracle's website. And basically you want to go to this URL. So I'm going to copy and paste into Notepad real quick. So go to oracle.com/virtualization technologies VM downloads, and then VirtualBox downloads to get the right version of VirtualBox. Because you try to go to virtualbox.oracle.com, it's not there. AKA Windows NT. Just saying. And speaking about Windows, there's actually a Windows 11 evaluation version that's actually out now on Microsoft's site. That's good until the 9th of January 9th, 2022. And you can get it at developer.microsoft.com Windows download virtual machines. And I wrote that developers. Yes, I'm a boomer for knowing this, but there's actually a version for VMware, Hyper-V, VirtualBox, and Parallels. And also, those of you guys watching this, there's CodeBlocks.org, where you can get all the different versions of CodeBlocks. Give you guys some ideas where you can get the stuff. So we have the binary releases for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Since we're done with this for the time being, let me go to CentOS. Actually, scratch that notion. Scratch that from the record. Scratch from the record. Turns out that CentOS does not perform as expected within a VM, and it also seems that it would not be wise to try to install CodeBlocks on CentOS within the VM. So we'll instead go with Lubuntu, which is a lightweight version of Ubuntu, and it works a little bit better with, not only does it work better with CodeBlocks, but honestly it works a lot more efficiently. And efficiency is something that's very important when working with VM, because let's just say that CentOS was running so slow in the VM, I thought I was on an Atari. Or at the very least, the computers that I mentioned in my other video. Well, anyway, let's go into VirtualBox again. Now we'll go ahead and create a new machine. I'll go ahead and call this Lubuntu 21 so I don't get mixed up with the other one. December 21. Hit next. Make sure this boy has enough RAM. I'm just going to add 4 gigs. Create a spare disk. Dynamic allocated. Don't need to be that big. That should be big enough. Now move on to settings. Go to system. Cut that off. RAM is good. Make sure you get the extra acceleration. That's good. Because you do not want this thing to run like a potato. Now we choose optical disk. I will go with Lubuntu, this newer version that came out back in October. Choose that. Audio key by default. Make sure that's set to NAT on the network. USB is good. Hit OK. Now we'll go ahead and start it. Once again, you can get it from Lubuntu.net. And you know, I might as well use Ubuntu. That's the simplest one to use. Has the least amount of issues. This is the first time for a lot of people to be using Linux. It probably makes the most sense to use this, especially within a virtual machine. And another gotcha that this doesn't have like CentOS did, my mouse actually works like it's supposed to. I'm constantly turn off and on just to make things work in this presentation. So yeah, CentOS Stream Edition, not good for VMs. Probably the worst one to use for a VM. So CentOS Stream, use that on actual hardware. So I went ahead and clicked the installation button. Let's go to next. New York, we want Detroit. We want to speak of that city right now. I think most people don't. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. Let's do erase disk and hit next. Try to keep some of that unnecessary commentary out of here. Positive vibes only. And with this being like a single user machine, no real point in putting in a whole extra passwords for administrator and their regular users. One username, one password, because no one else is going to be using this but me. Let's go ahead and do the installation. Some people start screaming and yelling like, well, you need to have an administrator role regardless of blah, blah. If it's a single user machine, one person's using it, especially in the VM, you don't really need to create an administrator account unless you're trying to test an environment later on that's going to be in a full-fledged network. Just saying. I apologize to Osborne kids for that. That's just some of the silliness that goes with some of my videos, but I will go ahead and close my mouth and let you guys watch the rest of this installation. Actually, I'm going to pause this real quick so you guys won't have to sit here all day while this thing installs. All right. Ah, this thing wants to be like it's possessed. Okay, it's done. So let me go ahead and reboot this. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why I test stuff before trying to actually do another presentation on it live. So we hit enter. May have to do a hard shut off for this one because the virtual disk is still on the machine. Actually, no, because it's ignoring it the first time, which is good. That's what we want. Okay, now I'll type in that little simple password I made. Exit out of there. Let this thing load up. And boom, we're ready to rock. So now we can go ahead and play around with the little things that are in here. We'll do this later. Let's see, go to preferences. Let's go to terminal. Ah. Should get all the canonical stuff on here. Definitely it's gonna be one of those things where I got, oh, here we go, Q terminal. Now we'll go ahead and do a sudo apt update. Key in the password. Okay, it's done. So now we can go ahead and do a build build essential. So what this does is like pretty much includes a bunch of essential packages into Ubuntu. So I'll type in sudo apt update. But first, let me actually close this out so you guys can see what I'm typing in here. Then tools terminal. So I'll say sudo. Probably have I spelled properly. Install build essential. And one thing keep in mind, Linux is case sensitive. Hit Y for yes. Let this install. Yeah, at least this time it's actually letting me see the entire screen instead of bits and pieces being chunked off, so you can see everything being done. And one thing you notice, it is taking a little bit of a time, but today servers are good, so it's not going to take too long. Another reason I want to pre-record is versus having this thing go off in class, because last time I attempted to do like a module with everything being live in class for that one-day workshop earlier this year, every server decided to crash. So right now the servers are up and they're running perfectly, so we can get a better understanding of what's going on. Still thinking. Tell with the hard drive signal going up. Okay, that's complete. So now we do a sudo apt get install man pages, just so the documentation is there for you to read later on if you want. So that's already done. So now we install the big boy, which is sudo apt install CodeBlocks. and it works with this digital, so I hit Y. Now we get the meat and potatoes of everything. When servers work and act and cooperate, it's a beautiful thing. I apologize, Twitch community, but I want to make sure this thing was running perfect. I want to make sure everything was able to work properly, which is why I'm recording this for YouTube, as well as Odyssey and perhaps Rumble later on, versus me trying to stream this, because I do not feel like going through the process again of stuff breaking in the middle of a stream. Okay, it's done. So now we can go ahead and exit out of there. Go to the start menu. Now see if CodeBlocks is in here. Boom, CodeBlocks IDE. This is what we needed. GCC is detected, so we're good there. Hit OK. And now we're ready to go ahead and build your first project. A few things I'm going to play around with, see if they have the target feature in here. Let's see. Couple leaders, a way you can like set to a different target. So let's say we want to do a new project. So right now we say console application. Hit go. Got things where you can let you pretty much. Call this test. Call this tested. Hit next. Do this GCC. All this looks good. And now the project is started. So now we get the main CPP here. Actually, what I need to do is create a file. C++. Hit next. Call this test CPP. And we're still on debug. Do it for both. Finish. Really do. Let's go ahead and put it there for now. Okay, now I go to the Windows version. A little bit more for you to see here. So basically now you go to build. Let's say you want to build something. Just let you go ahead and compile everything. 0 error, so everything is good. So then go here and I'll say I just want to run it. So see out statement, and it works. Press any key to continue. So everything compiled and ran like it was supposed to. See out statement was good. Other way to do a see out statement works as well. And if you really want to get fancy, you want to like get your code to run an old piece of software, old piece of hardware like the PS3. There's something known as Open Watcom, which I have open here. So I'll go ahead and create a new project. Let's call this Osborne PS3. Because this actually will make it run on the PS3, which is crazy. Character mode. Nope, we need DOS so it'll work properly. DOS 32XC. Hit OK. Now I go to sources. Go directly where I have some of the test files in. something that I know actually works with this compiler. It's an old program built in C++ years and eons ago. A Roman switch program. Oops. Go ahead and remove this. Only in there one time. Now I'll go ahead and say make all. And it's done. The file has now been created. And it's in whatever default folder you have for your computer. So yeah. Actually, I screwed this up. Let me fix that, because I notice I have a bad file in here. So let me go ahead and call this a new project. So we're going to call this PS3 Test 2021. Needs to be DOS32. Let's keep it as is. Default settings. Add source. Close that there. Now please compile properly. Boom! So now if you have DOSBox on your PS3, this executable I just made will run perfectly fine on freaking PS3 if your PS3 is hacked to run DOS. And I'll show you guys in a second what that is all about. Okay, this last example, I'll be using my PS3, which was soft modded, and I'll be going in and out of DOS with a keyboard like so. So you know, this keyboard will be pretty much used in place of a regular keyboard, while it's a USB keyboard. And I'll also be using my controller to kind of act as a mouse. And now people are probably thinking that I've completely lost my mind, and yeah. Anyways, it's already been jailbroken, so I'll go to DOSBox, and we're good to go. Let it load up a little bit. I'll type in intro to get all the commands in for this. Type in dir. Type in dir. Let's see where everything is. Go to C drive. Oops. Slash intro mount. Now they got you. You know, using OS for a while. So now let's type in mount C, go to your C drive, then DOS programs. I think either call this DOS programs or DOS by itself. So it's mount C EOS. So then hit dir. Let's see what's in the directory like I would in Linux. One carryover from Unix to DOS was this. So all my files are now here. Actually, I need to change the directory first. Now hit dir. So now I go to PS3 test. .exe. So now the program I built in Watcom opens up here. Type in your numbers. And it's added. And we're done. So what you just saw is me actually running this on a PS3 to go. This is code I actually wrote on my PC that's now running PS3. After some soft modding, so I exit out of here. Oops. Takes me back to the PlayStation screen. Alright, I got one more thing to show everybody before wrapping up this video. Okay, one final thing is that now until the 9th of January, as mentioned earlier, you can actually download and install Windows 11 Enterprise Edition from Microsoft's website for VMware, Hyper-V, VirtualBox, and Parallels. I thought I'd bring this up since we are talking about virtualization and it's kind of a very sort of suspense issue. And to actually get to this site, you need to go to https://developer.microsoft.com, English, Windows, downloads, virtual machines. I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but just to be on the safe side, mention it one more time. And of course, I know I've said it before because of developers. Hope everyone here will be a good developer. I know, dad joke, but anyway, thank you for everyone who watched this. Have a good day. Happy holidays. Good luck in your final semester. And talk to everybody later. Goodbye.